Morning guys, on Leviticus chapter 12, reading from verse 1 to 8, looking at what makes us clean, and what defiles us, and specifically looking at the woman this morning. Verse 1, Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the sons of Israel, saying, When a woman gives birth and bears a male child, then she shall be unclean for 7 days, as in the days of her menstruation when she is unclean. And just so we know that during her period she would be unclean, and then she would have to make an offering. And now if she has a baby, obviously there's blood that gets shed, and obviously the importance of the blood. Now she has to offer a sacrifice to make her clean, and there's a period of waiting of 7 days. Psalm 51 verse 5, it says, Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in my mother conceived me, and in sin, my mother conceived me. So I was brought forth in sin, and in sin my mother conceived me. And so just that aspect, that sin, from Adam and Eve sinning, there's a stigma that Eve caused Adam to sin, and so there's a stigma on the woman. And so the curse of the woman is childbearing. And so it's anything to do with that childbearing now becomes the pain of childbearing, and the pain of the menstrual cycles, and all that is related to the curse of sin. And so because Adam and Eve sinned, that sin has been gone down through generation to generation. So we too are now born into sin. We're actually born sinners. And so that whole aspect shows from the moment of birth, and in birth we are born in sin. And so now how do we become clean? Verse 3, On the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. That's obviously for the males. That was the law, and that was a sign of the Abrahamic covenant. Every male on the 8th day needed to be circumcised. Then she shall remain in the blood of her purification for 33 days. She shall not touch any consecrated thing, nor enter the sanctuary until the days of her purification are complete. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean for 2 weeks in her menstruation, and she shall remain in the blood of her purification for 66 days. So it's the 14 plus the 66, so 80 days, as opposed to the 40 complete days for a male, which is interesting. It's exactly double. So every time there's a female birth, there's a period of waiting for double the period, which is, I can't give the exact reasoning other than perhaps it's something to do with the fact that it's through this childbearing. And even in 1 Timothy 5 it says a woman is saved through childbearing. Through childbearing, the curse is basically the result of the curse, and then also through childbearing and raising godly children she's saved. And ultimately, obviously, Jesus came through the womb of a woman and saved the world. And ultimately, all of these things are really saying that we are born in sin. We need to be clean. God can't accept us in that sinful condition. And how do we become clean? We can only become clean through the blood of Jesus. And so all of this is ultimately pointing towards Jesus and making us clean. Verse 6, When the days of her purification are complete, for a son or for a daughter, she shall bring in the priest at the doorway of the tent of meeting a 1-year-old lamb for a burnt offering, a young pigeon, or a turtle dove for a sin offering. And just like the previous sacrifices, if they couldn't afford a lamb, they would just bring a pigeon or a turtle dove, but something had to die for that sin. Verse 7, Then she shall offer it before the Lord and make atonement for her, and she shall be cleansed from the flow of her blood. This is the law for her who bears a child, whether a male or a female. But if she cannot afford a lamb, then she shall take 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, the one for the burnt offering and the one for the sin offering, and the priest shall make atonement for her, and she will be clean. And so just a reminder that every person is born in sin. Every person needs to be made clean, and the only way to be absolutely clean and spotless before God is to believe in Jesus Christ.